Boom. Dark ambient vocal melodies have been and always will be a big part of music production. The eerie, atmospheric vocals can add depth, emotion, and kind of that cinematic vibe that just makes your beat stand out. So whether you're making trap, drill, rage, underground beats, cinematic scores, whatever it may be, dark vocal melodies can take your sound from basic all the way to industry level. And today's tutorial, I'm going to be breaking down how to manipulate vocal samples for a dark vibe, the best effects for creating ambient and cinematic textures, how to layer vocals with pads and synths, and mixing tricks to make your melodies sound huge and haunting. And then by the end of this video, you're going to be able to create your own dark ambient melodies. So let's get into this. Hang on a second here before we get into this. I just checked and 70% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. That means if everyone subscribed over a month, I'd be over like 50k subs. So listen, if you're watching this video now, go make sure that you've actually clicked the subscribe button for me. And that way you won't miss when I post all the latest trends on FL Studio, because let's be real, I'm always the first person to post the latest trends. And then if you're already subscribed, just make sure to smash the like button for me. And also in the comments, tell me how I can level up these videos, because I want to be bringing you the best content possible. Any suggestions on how to make these videos better, let me know. So we are working in the famous 150 BPM. That is my new 145 BPM. For anyone that knows, I used to always use 145. Now I seem to just always be using 150. All right, so I do want to make this melody pretty synth based. That means we're going to be using Serum. Serum's like my new toy. I never really dived into Serum too much. Kind of have this kind of melody or top line in my head. Something like that. That was pretty nice. Maybe in the last one. Oh, wait. I'm gonna have a section pitch down, but I think I want to keep this as, like I said, like a top line, but I don't want it to be too low with the bass. Also, we're just gonna have to trust the process with this melody, because at the end of it, we're gonna be doing a little trick to kind of really transform the melody. So just make sure you keep watching. I might use this as like an accent hit. Whoop. Simple, just like that. Just a little one hit. Basically what we're doing right now is just kind of creating the foundation for the background behind that vocal that we're going to put in. Woo-hoo-hoo! This sound is insane. Ooh. I kind of like that. Sounds a bit different. It's a crazy ass sound. Push them up. I don't have that long sweep in, so if we push them over a little bit. Very subtle, but it just sounds like some sort of sweep kind of coming in. Like I said, if you're still looking at this melody thinking this is trash, just wait, man. Just wait. I like that kind of like distorted sound in the background. Let's try some different notes for kind of a different feel. Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice little tone. This is a cute synth. Having kind of a lasery kind of sound. The way that I'm making this melody is I'm just trying to get as many textures in here as possible and kind of like different sounds that are bouncing off of each other. Because like I said, you're going to see in just a second. Like this melody isn't very good, I'm not going to lie, but just wait. That arp is insane. I think we're going to put it on, I think D sharp just all the way across. Yeah, that's giving some textures. Melody, what we're going to do is click consolidate. 16 bars of it. I always like to render my melodies in 16 bars, even if I make it an 8 bar, just in case something kind of messes up in it. Right, once we have this rendered, I'm going to hit click reverse and repitch 500. Let's consolidate this one more time. Now with the newly consolidated one, we're going to come into audio editor. I'm gonna click this blur function. The blur function is basically like reverb and convolver. You can change the amount in the mix. This is what I normally use. Click accept. I'm gonna drag this back out and let's repitch it one more time. And also, just for good measure, I've added a tiny bit of reverb onto it, tiny bit of fruity flanges onto it, and also a tiny bit of fruity phaser onto it. As you can see, I've adjusted the mix accordingly on the mixer channel. After all of that, ambient as hell. This is how you can just make very, very unique melodies and very, very ambient melodies. This is how I get my vocals onto this. When I come to the one and only splice, I want to type in vocals. I then want to put in the key of the beat that I'm in. Now listen, I understand that there's a splice bridge that you can use, like an app syncs everything to tempo, syncs everything to key, but it means you have to use the splice app, and I hate using the splice app. This is what I do instead. We're in G sharp minor, and I'm just going to play my melody in the background. You know what? I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Oh, I kind of like this one. See, this one fits the vibe. That one fits the vibe. Yeah. That little vocal part's actually hard. Alright, so I think we just want the start. While I was on Splice, I'm after finding this art. Fire, by the way. And it just goes so well with the melody. Alright, that's gonna be like our hook part. We're gonna need to switch up for the verse and stuff, so let's get rid of this. What else do we have in here that we could use, maybe? Ooh, wait, hang on a second. Turn down the gain a little bit on this. Do some drums on this. All drums, of course, coming from the Recovery drum kit, man. Hardest drum kit of 2025. Link for that in the description. That's so jumpy. Alright, we have kind of messed up a hi-hat here coming into the echo delay fat mode. As you can see, I have the pitch turned down about 500 cents. I have the mod Y wheel up 100%. I have the feedback at 43 with the time at a delay of 1. And I think we just want to emphasize some of these hats. That sounds fire. Gonna add in this classic little pop sound. And it's now time for the 808. We are using the 2 Hollis 808. Again, this is one of my favorite new 808s. I'm using this for all of my underground kind of stuff. Any of my trap beats, I'm using this 808. And I feel like we can make a couple of 808 patterns here. And then once we make a second 808 pattern, we can also bring in the kick. So right here we have our intro. This part is going to be our hook, where everything kind of comes out of the beat. Then we come into the verse section. In the verse we drop the 808, we drop some of the melodies, bring back the 808 with a different 808 pattern. Keep the beat fresh, keep the beat alive. If you learned anything from this video or you just enjoyed, I would appreciate it if you dropped the like button. Holy shit, this is lagging. Came out tough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you for watching. Make sure you roll me up on all socials. I'm out. Good luck. See you later. Bow.